Hi, it's Becky with Like Keys Energy. Welcome to today's regulating gentle practice. For today's practice, you may need a strap. If you don't have a strap at home, go ahead and grab a scarf or a towel or a belt or anything like that. Also, this practice is designed so if you would like to sit in a chair and do this from the chair, you are more than welcome to adapt what I'm doing on the floor into a chair. So today's practice is a little bit different than our normal daily practice. Today's practice is coming to you based out of neuroscience and trauma-informed yoga. I am filming this 1 week before the US elections, and my inbox kind of reflects the stress and the anxiety that many of us are starting to feel, or are continuing to feel, or heightening, whatever is happening for you today. And I'm noticing that it really doesn't go down party lines. It really is a collective response. And while I do not have the ability to make this better or easier for any of us, I do have the ability to offer you this self-regulation tool. Neuroscience teaches us that the brain finds comfort in familiar things. So my hope is that you come back to this flow over and over the next couple of weeks, and that this really becomes one of those practices that keeps you rooted and grounded in your body and allows for some clear thinking. So let's go ahead and get started. Coming into Sukhasana, heels in line with the groin, starting to rock from side to side. If you're choosing to practice in a chair, go ahead and place those feet firmly on the ground. Sit up nice and straight and start to rock side to side with me. Closing the eyes if that feels safe, and if that doesn't feel safe, just lowering the gaze down to the ground. Just noticing the sit bones as they connect to that earth beneath you. And then starting to settle in here, start to find some stillness. Bringing your shoulders up to your ears, waterfall the shoulder blades down the back. And start to imagine there's a string on the top of your head pulling you just a little bit taller. Bringing your awareness back to your sit bones. Start to notice which one is a little bit more anchored to the earth beneath you. And notice which one is lifted just a little bit. And start to even out the weight distribution. Finding your center here. And bringing that left hand to the heart space and the right hand to the lower abs. Just start to notice the breath flowing through the chest today. And if it feels right for your body, maybe invite that air just a little bit deeper into the belly on the inhale. And releasing it fully on the exhale. Then maybe start to breathe into that right hand, letting those low abs expand, drawing the air up into the rib cage, all the way up to the collarbones. And then exhale down to the collarbones, down to the left hand, down to the right. Inhale, right, left. Collarbones. Exhale, collarbones, left, right. Continue with this. If you're noticing the mind starting to spin here, maybe start to add a mantra. Inhale peace. Exhale tension. Inhale peace. Exhale tension. 7 more. After your last deep breath, go ahead and release the hands down to the knees. Bring that breath back to deep yogic breathing. We'll bring those hands to heart center, pressing the thumbs into the sternum. Take just a moment to set a sankalpa or an intent for today's practice. This is your practice. Make it personal. Exhale, release the hands to the knees, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale the ear to one shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, ear to opposite shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Continue with this. Let your breath start to carry you here. When your ear finds one shoulder, go ahead and leave it there. We're bringing the ear down towards the shoulder, not the shoulder up towards the ear. Bring that same arm up and over, add just a little bit of pressure. If you're in a chair, go ahead and let your opposite arm get super heavy here. If you're joining me on the floor, go ahead and walk that arm away from the body, lengthening the scalenes, your neck muscles. These muscles so often get tight as our shoulders start to drift up towards our ears when we're feeling anxiety. See if you can breathe into the space, just letting any tension release. And walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up, switching sides, bringing the chin to the chest, bring the ear to the opposite shoulder. Once again, bringing that ear down to the shoulder, not the shoulder to the ear. Bring that same arm up and over, adding just a little bit of pressure. And either let your opposite arm get super heavy down by the side if you're in a chair, or walk that arm away from the body if you're on the floor. Taking some deep breaths here. And walking that hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up. Or bring the chin over to the shoulder. And then lift the chin up towards the ceiling for a move I've nicknamed the Snooty Yogi. Noticing how the neck is feeling here. And starting to play with how it feels to maybe draw the chin up towards the ceiling a little bit more, or maybe down towards the chest. Noticing where you find the best stretch in your body today. Breathe here. Inhale, lift up, come back to center. Drawing the chin to the opposite shoulder. And lifting that chin up towards the ceiling. Snooty yogi on the opposite side. Exhale, come back to center. We are going to interlace the fingers and bring the fingers back behind the occipital, the back of the head. Elbows open up super wide here. Keeping the spine straight, go ahead and drop the chin to the chest and add just a little bit of pressure here, finding that stretch from the back of the head down through the wings. Breathe in here. And then around the back, look down at the belly, finding that stretch from the back of the head down through the SI joint. Inhale, lift up. We're going to take these same interlaced fingers and push the palms away at shoulder height. Round the back and look down at the belly, finding that stretch through the wings, releasing any tension that we find there. Inhale, lift up, bringing those arms up overhead, push the palms up towards the ceiling, and invite the shoulder blades down the back. Rocking from side to side, feeling those sit bones connect to the earth beneath you. We're going to lean to the side, pushing your wing up towards the sky. Breathe in here. Inhale, come back to center, switching sides, lean to the opposite side, push the wing up towards the ceiling, keeping both sit bones glued to the earth. Breathe in here. Inhale, come back to center, releasing the arms, rolling out the shoulder blades. We're going to bring the hands onto the knees. Exhale, the heart space forward. Inhale, start to make some Sufi circles here. Warming up the spine. Inviting in some gentle movement. And when you get to the back of the Sufi circle, go ahead and switch directions. And slowly start to come back to center. Crossing the arm across the midline, find the opposite knee. Do your best beauty queen pose. You're going to draw your free shoulder down towards the knee as the elbow comes up towards the ceiling. Taking some deep breaths here. So beauty queen pose is our first cross midline pose of the practice. And the brain finds it super calming whenever we start to cross the midline with our limbs. Inhale, lift up. So your midline literally is the line that goes down the center of you. Anytime that you take an arm across that midline, so bring your opposite arm across. And drop that shoulder towards the free knee, elbow comes up towards the ceiling. You start to offer the brain a regulating effect here. Taking some deep breaths here. And besides, Beauty Queen just feels good. Inhale, lift up, releasing both arms. We're going to do a few rounds of joyous breath here. So if you're seated on the floor, just go ahead and stay on the floor. If you're seated in your chair, go ahead and scoot to the edge of the chair so that there's a little bit of room behind you. We're going to open the arms out wide like a T and bend the arms up into W arms or goalpost arms. From here, open up the chest, tip the head back, and take a deep breath in. Now exhale, give yourself a great big bear hug, round the back, look down, exhale. Inhale, lift up, expand, open chest. Exhale, reverse the cross of the arms, so whatever arm was on top is now on the bottom. Exhale, release. That's one round. We're going to do 5 more. Inhale, open up. Exhale, cross. Inhale. Exhale, reverse cross. Keep going. Slow and steady. Let the breath carry the practice here. Two more. Last one. Coming back to center. Beautiful. From here, if you're seated in a chair, you're going to keep both feet planted on the ground. Lift up through the spine, hinge at the waist, fold forward, coming into a seated forward fold. If you're joining me on the floor, go ahead and stay in Sukhasana, lift up through the spine, and walk those hands forward, coming into a seated forward fold. Breathe in here. And then walking the hands over to one side, lengthening that side body. If you're in a chair, go ahead and walk the hands over to one side. Breathe in here, taking some deep breaths. And walking the hands to the opposite side, taking some deep breaths. Coming back to center. If you're in a chair, go ahead and roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, coming back to a seated position. If you're on the floor, go ahead and walk the hands back, coming back to a seated position. Everybody inhales the arms up overhead, reaching for that right wrist. Lift up through that right wrist and lean to the left, lengthening through that right side body. Seated crescent moon. Taking some deep breaths here. Notice how it feels to breathe deeply here. Where is that breath wanting to go? Where is that breath being stuck? Inhale, come back to switching sides, reaching for that left wrist, left hand comes up towards the ceiling, leaning towards the right. Breathe in here. Inhale, come back to center, release the arms, rolling out the shoulders. If you're in the chair, go ahead and stay right where you are. If you're on the floor, go ahead and take that foot that's in back and bring it up front. Lovely. Everybody lifts up through the spine. If you're in the chair, go ahead and hinge at your waist, fold forward, forward fold. If you're seated on the floor, go ahead and walk those hands forward, seated forward fold. Breathe in here. Walking the hands over to one side, lengthening that side body. Walking the hands to the opposite side, lengthening the side body. Walking those hands back to center. If you're seated in a chair, go ahead and roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, coming back to a seated position. If you're on the floor, go ahead and walk those hands back, coming back to a seated position. Beautiful. Inhale, everybody inhale, circle sweeps the arms up overhead, reaching for that right wrist, lift up. Exhale, lean to the left, seated crescent moon again, lengthening that side body, coming back to those deep breaths here. Noticing the breath. Is that breath pattern starting to change? No worries if it's not. Coming back to center, switching sides, reaching for that left wrist. Left hand comes up towards the ceiling, lean towards the right, lengthening the side body. Inhale, come back to center, release the arms, rolling out the shoulders. We're going to go ahead and come to a standing position any way that happens for you. If you're wanting to use a chair, but standing is good for you, go ahead and bring the chair to the front of the mat so that you have access to the seat to use to help lift that floor up to you. We're all going to meet at the top of the mat, coming into Tadasana. In Tadasana, both feet face forward, and the feet are roughly hips distance apart. We know what hips distance apart is because we can take two fists and slip them between our big toe joints. While that's not precise, it's approximate. With the feet nice and stable below us, go ahead and add a soft bend to the knees, fainting kind of sucks. Bringing those shoulders up to the ears, waterfall the shoulder blades down the back, and imagine there's a string on the top of your head pulling you just a little bit taller. From here into Tadasana, we're going to go ahead and close the eyes or soften the gaze down to the floor. Take a moment here and start to shift the body weight from the balls of the feet to the heels, back and forth. And then slowly start to settle in and find your personal center here. Find your sense of balance. And then shift the weight from the pinky edge of the feet to the balls of the feet. And settle in. Taking 5 slow, deep breaths here. Feel your body connected and supported by the earth beneath you. Feel those toes press into the floor. Maybe start to notice which toes are digging in a little bit more. Noticing what it feels like to stand in your center. Noticing how it feels to breathe today. Inhale, circle sweep the arms up overhead. Drishti comes up towards the sky. Exhale, bring those hands down to heart center, Samastatihi. We're going to do 3 more just like that. Tadasana, inhale, circle sweep the arms up overhead. Gather up all that good stuff. Exhale, seal it into heart center. What is it that you need more of today? Gather that. Inhale the peace. Inhale the calm. Inhale the tranquility. Last one here. This is your practice. Make it personal today, guys. Pressing those thumbs into heart center. Standing in your personal center. Pause here. Releasing the hands down to the side. We'll open the arms out wide like a T. And give ourselves a great big bear hug. Walking those fingertips back towards the shoulder blades. Lifting the elbows up. We'll put a soft bend in the knees and hinge at the hips. Fold forward. Release the tension out of the neck. Shaking the head, yes. Shaking the head, no. Ending on the yes. Exhale, release the hands down to the ground. Put a big bend in both knees and start to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, head being the last to rise, meeting back into Tadasana. Inhale, open the arms out wide like a T again. Exhale, reverse the cross of the arms, giving yourself a great big bear hug. Whatever arm was on top is now on bottom. Inhale, lift the elbows up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward, forward, forward. Release all the tension out of the neck. Shake the head, yes. Shake the head. No. Breathe in here. Exhale, release the hands down towards the floor. Put a great big bend in both knees and roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, head being the last to rise, meeting into Tadasana. Now, many of us are going to stay with bear hug, and bear hug is an awesome option. We get all the benefits, both through neuroscience and through asana yoga tradition. If you're not getting enough of a stretch through these upper shoulders, this place where our traps carry so much of the tension of the world, if you're not getting enough of a stretch with a bear hug, let's try some eagle arms here. Remember, going deeper in a pose does not make it better. It does not mean you're a better yogi. It just means you can go a little bit deeper in this pose today. So maybe stay with bear hug, or if you would like to try eagle, there's a couple variations. So we all will start wide like a T. Bring the elbows in front. So you'll want to make sure that the elbows stack. If your elbows don't stack, so if you're doing one of these, right, instead of one of these, then go ahead and stay with bear hug. When the elbows stack, bend the elbows and bring the back of the hands together. Beautiful. This is the first stop. From here, if you're like, that's great, Beck, but I need just a little bit more of a stretch, go ahead and flip the palms so the palms connect. Awesome. Now, regardless if you're going to do bear hug or one of the versions of eagle arms, everybody's going to inhale, lift those elbows up as high as they'll go right now. Tip the head back and look up. 3 deep breaths here. And then exhale. Fold, hinge at the hips, fold forward, lift the elbows up still. Finding that stretch through the hamstrings, through the low back, and even through the shoulder blades. 5 slow, deep breaths. Exhale, uncross the arms. Notice what arm is on top, though, and release all the tension out of the neck. Bend in the knees. We'll bend the elbows and hang on to opposite elbows, releasing all the tension out of the neck. And start to sway side to side and ragdoll. Let all of the stress, all of the tension flow out of the crown of your head. Slow, deep breaths here. Exhale, release the hands down to the ground and roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Coming back to Tadasana. Doing that one more time on the opposite side. So inhale, open the arms out super wide like a T. Reverse cross the arms, so whatever arm was on bottom is now on top. Notice if those elbows stack. If the elbows stack, go ahead and bend at the elbows, bring the back of the hands together. Pause here, notice. Maybe flip the hands so the palms of the hands touch. Put a small bend in the knees. Inhale, lift the elbows up and lean back. 3 slow, deep breaths here. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Forward fold with eagle arm. Breathe in here. Exhale, uncross the arms, release the hands down towards the mat. Making sure there's still a bend in both knees, bend the arms at opposite elbows. Hang on to opposite elbows and start to sway side to side in ragdoll. Breathe, breathe, breathe here. Maybe close the eyes and start to visualize any held tension just pouring out of the crown of the head. And shifting the weight to the balls of the feet and the heels, noticing where your center is today. Exhale, release the hands down to the mat, put a great big bend in the knees and start to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Head is the last to rise, everybody meeting in Tadasana, mountain pose. From mountain pose, we're going to take the right foot and cross it over the left once again, crossing that midline. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up overhead, reaching for that right wrist. Inhale, pull the right wrist up towards the sky. Exhale, lean to the left. Breathe in here. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release the hands. If you are using a chair, make sure the chair is in front of you still and you have the seat available. We'll keep the feet crossed and everybody will hinge at the hips, fold forward. If you're using a chair, the hands are going to rest on the chair here. If you're not, the hands can come to the thighs for support of that low back and hinge at the hips, fold forward. Release all the tension out of the neck. 5 slow, deep breaths here. Pulling that belly button back towards the spine. Roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Head is the last to rise. Keep the foundation, the feet crossed just like they are. Beautiful. From here, we're going to inhale, circle, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the waist. Fold forward, forward. Fold one more time. Breathe in here. Releasing the tension in the neck. Remember, those hands can rest on the thighs. Inhale, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Head is the last to rise. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. Uncross the legs, shake it out. We're going to cross the left ankle over the right. Inhale, circle, sweep the arms up overhead. Reaching for that left wrist. Inhale the left arm up towards the ceiling and lean to the right. Breathe in here. Coming back to those slow, deep breaths. Inhale, come back to center, release the arms, letting the legs stay crossed. Hinge at the hips, fold forward, hands rest on the thighs to support the low back. And release all the tension out of the neck. Exhale, release the hands down towards the ground, bending both elbows. Release the tension out of the neck and start to sway side to side in ragdoll. Exhale, release. Rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae, head is the last to rise, meeting into Tadasana. With the feet still crossed, inhale, circle sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down to Anjali Heart Center, Samasthiti. Hinge at the hips, fold forward, bring the hands to the thighs and release the tension out of the neck. Breathe in here. Exhale, release the hands down towards the floor and roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Head is the last to rise. Uncrossing the legs, go ahead and shake it out. Beautiful, beautiful. Noticing how the body is starting to feel here. Coming back into Tadasana, feet hips distance apart. We're going to interlace the fingers behind the back and push the knuckles below the glutes, opening up that chest. From here, with a soft bend in the knees, we're going to push those knuckles a little lower as we tip the head back, opening the heart space up towards the sky. 3 slow, deep breaths here. From here, put a great big bend in both knees. Hinge at the hips, fold forward. Place the belly down onto the thighs. Release the tension out of the neck and bring the hands up overhead. 3 slow, deep breaths here. Really rooting down all 4 corners of both feet. Push down through the heels. Lift up. Beautiful. Keeping the hands just like they are, we're going to take the right foot and cross it over the left foot. Take a deep breath in. Push the knuckles below the glutes again. Soft bend in the knees. Hinge at the hips. Fold forward. Breathe in here. Now, remember, if your hands don't touch behind you, that's okay. You can grab a strap and hang onto a strap just like this. And that's going to give you the opening in your shoulders that your body is craving today. Rooting down through both feet, strong bend in both knees. Lift up. Releasing the arms, uncrossing the legs. Shake it out. We'll cross the right ankle over the left. Interlace the fingers behind the body again. Push the knuckles below the glutes. Hinge with the hips. Fold forward. Anchoring down all 4 corners of both feet. Inhale, lift up. Releasing the hands, uncrossing the feet. Shake it out. Beautiful. We're going to hinge at the hips, fold forward. Hands come down to the thighs, elbows point out. Now, with a bend in the knees, see if you can flatten your back. Kind of stick the booty out behind you. Beautiful. Lengthen the neck. Give yourself a long draft neck here. Flat back. From here, we're going to round the back, tuck the pelvis, look down at the belly for standing cat. Give me your best angry sovereign cat here. And then exhale, sink the belly, tip the pelvis and the chest up. Gaze comes towards the ceiling. Standing cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. A few more. And then everybody coming into standing cat, holding standing cat for 3 deep breaths. And sink the belly, tip the head up, standing cow, 3 deep breaths. Exhale, release the body down towards the ground and rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. If you are not comfortable on the floor and laying or sitting on the floor is not comfortable, please grab a chair and go ahead and sit in the chair. If you are comfortable on the floor, you're just not comfortable from getting up and down from the floor, take a moment, transition onto the floor with me. And everybody might want to have a strap handy. From here, if you're in the chair, well, it actually doesn't matter. Whether you're on the floor or in the chair, go ahead, extend both legs out in front. Pull the flesh away from the sit bones and take a moment. Feel those sit bones connect to the chair or the earth beneath you. With both legs extended in front and toes facing up towards the sky. Inhale, lift up tall through that spine. Deep breath here. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Remember, touching your toes is not really a part of yoga. It's not even the point. So if your hands don't touch your toes, no worries. Maybe those hands are going to rest on your thighs. Maybe they're going to rest on your shins. Maybe they're going to hang on to your ankles. Maybe they're going to touch your toes. Maybe you don't like any of those options and you would like to grab your strap and use your strap to pull you down. Doing what's best for your body in this moment. 5 slow, deep breaths here. Inhale, roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. If you're seated in a chair, go ahead and bend both knees and plant the soles of the feet firmly onto the ground. Everybody now is going to take their right ankle and rest it on their left thigh. Flexing that right foot to protect the knee, energetically drive the right knee down towards the floor. Beautiful. From here, lift up through your spine, hinge at the hips, walk those hands forward. Seated pigeon. Finding a beautiful stretch in the outer hips, maybe through those hamstrings, through that lumbar area. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Inhale, lift up. We release the right leg down the mat, switching sides, bringing that left ankle to the right thigh. Flex that left foot to protect the knee and energetically drive that left knee down towards the ground. If you're in a chair, your right foot is planted like so on the sole, on the earth. From here, lift and hinge the hips, fold forward, seated pigeon, opposite side. Breathe in here. Exhale, release, walk the hands back, coming back to a seated position. Or go ahead and release both legs down the mat and shake out the legs. If you are on the floor, go ahead and bend both knees, plant the soles of the feet onto the ground, and roll back, vertebrae by vertebrae. For those who are on the floor with me, we're going to open the arms out wide like a T. Inhale the knees up to the chest. And exhale, twist, dropping those knees up, belly button height, onto the floor. Whichever direction we twisted, we'll take that same hand. So I twisted to the right. I'll use my right hand to add a little weight to that top knee. And I'll let the left shoulder melt into the earth. Taking some deep breaths here, releasing the weight of the world on that low back. If you're in a chair, go ahead and sit sideways in your chair. Inhale, lift up through your spine. Exhale, turn your chest towards the back of the chair and use both hands to hang on to either side. Letting that heart space face the back of the chair. Feeling the twist and opening through that low back. Everybody's taking some slow, deep breaths here. Exhale, release. If you're on the floor with me, go ahead and pull your navel back towards your spine. Inhale the knees to the ceiling. Exhale, twist opposite side, dropping those knees down towards the left, right at belly button height, nice and high. Taking that left hand to the top knee, letting that right shoulder melt into the earth. If you're seated in a chair, go ahead and turn the opposite direction. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, twist your heart space towards the back of the chair, coming into a seated twist on the opposite side. Some slow, deep breaths here. Exhale, release. Inhale, bring the knees back to center if you're on the floor, and lower the soles of the feet to the ground. If you're seated in a chair, go ahead and come back to center. Beautiful. So for those who are seated in a chair, we're going to come into spinal twist one more time on each side. So the same exact move we just did. We're going to come back the opposite direction, bring the knees out to the side. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, twist, bringing the chest facing the back of the chair. Hang out here. If you're on the floor with me, go ahead and windshield wiper the knees from side to side. We will all drop our knees down towards the right, and taking that lower right ankle, we'll rest it on top of the left thigh. That should start to activate your left hip flexor here. No matter which pose you're in, we're going to hold this pose for 3 slow, deep breaths. What is happening with your breath now as we start to end practice? If you're in a chair, go ahead and exhale, release, unwind. If you're on the floor with me, go ahead and release that right foot back down towards the floor and bring both knees back to center. Those in a chair, go ahead and come to the opposite side. Inhale, lift up nice and tall. Exhale, twist, bringing that heart space towards the back of the chair. For those on the floor with me, go ahead and start to windshield wiper the knees from side to side again. And then drop the knees down towards the left, bringing that left ankle to the right thigh, activating that right hip flexor. Breathe in here, slow and deep. Exhale, release. Bring the knees back to center. If you're on the floor with me, go ahead and windshield wipe your knees just a couple more times. If you're in a chair, go ahead and come back to center. Beautiful. Those in a chair, you're going to bend both knees and plant the soles of the feet firmly onto the ground. Yes. From here, you're going to hug the right knee up towards the chest with the spine staying straight. If you are on the floor with me, you're going to inhale the right knee up to the chest and exhale the left leg down the mat, hugging that right knee towards the chest. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Those in a chair are going to stay in this position. Those on the floor will take their left hand, hang on to their right knee, open their right arm towards the side, and cross that right knee over the midline. Breathing in here. Inhale, come back to center, hugging the knee to the chest. Exhale, release the right knee down the mat. Release the right foot back down towards the floor. If you're in the chair, go ahead and inhale the left knee up to the chest. If you're on the floor, go ahead and inhale the left knee up to the chest, extending the right leg down the mat. Deep breaths here. And then hang on to the knee with your right hand and cross that left knee across the midline. Breathe in. Exhale, come back to center. If you're on the floor with me, go ahead and inhale both knees up to the chest. Make yourself into a small ball. If you're seated in a chair, go ahead and scoot back all the way into the chair so that the back is touching the support beneath you. It might feel good to roll side to side and massage that low back a little bit. It might feel good to rock up and down the mat a few times, giving that low back a massage. Take a moment here. Take any movement that the body is asking for. If you're in a chair, start to feel the feet connect to the earth beneath you. Feel the sit bones connect to the chair. Feel the shoulder blades connect to the chair. If you're on the floor, go ahead and straighten both legs, bringing the heels out as wide as the mat or wider. Walk the shoulder blades down the back, palms facing up. Closing the eyes if that feels safe, and if that doesn't feel safe, softening the gaze. Finding our final resting pose, Savasana. And if this quiet, still time is a lot for your busy mind, perhaps consider adding a mantra to your breath. One of the mantras that I am currently working with is my breath helps me find peace in the storms. My breath helps me find peace in the storms. Maybe that mantra won't work for you, and that's okay. This is a personalized practice. Noticing where those feet connect. Noticing where the calves connect. Noticing where the hips connect. Noticing where the shoulders connect. Noticing where the back of the hands connect. And noticing where the back of the head connects. Entire body held and supported. Entire body held and supported. Taking a moment, noticing if you can make yourself 10% more comfortable here. And hanging out in your final resting pose, Savasana. Slowly deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, bring the arms up and over your head for a full body stretch, taking up as much room as you possibly can. If you're laying on the floor, roll over onto one side. If you're seated in a chair, bring those hands down to heart center. Bringing to mind one thing that you love about yourself. One thing that you're grateful for right now. And offering yourself a moment of gratitude for taking time to practice today. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, push yourself up to a seated position. with hands at heart center. And I leave you all with this passage from page 94 of the She book. When you want the same safety, beauty, comfort, and protection for the world as you want for yourself, you move us all a little bit closer towards heaven on earth. I am so very grateful for the opportunity to practice and regulate with each and every one of you. I hope you leave this practice feeling just a skosh better than when we started. The light in me so very much honors the light in you. It is my sincere hope that you come back to this practice daily, maybe more frequently over the next week or two. Use this as a tool to self-regulate and ground. Connect to your breath. Stabilize the storm within. Please drop me a message. Let me know how this flow works or does not work for you. If you'd like more yoga practices, join me on Patreon, where I post almost daily content, and there's over 200 offerings to choose from. You get access to everything. If you're looking for more specific content, something that you can't find on Patreon in the search bar, please shoot me a DM.